All right, so what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Tonya from Sankofa-Repat.com. Now, many of you leave comments to me about going to the continent of Africa, and you feel, a lot of you actually, feel that you can't really do it because you're not making a lot of money or what you deem as a lot of money. So Miss Tonya here is the person that can answer all of those questions. I've seen your comments, and I'm going to present them to her. So Tonya, thank you for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me, Brother Phil. I appreciate you.
All right, Miss Tonya. So tell people about your Sankofa Repat. Let people know about it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you how it came about. I lived in Ghana for a couple of years with my two youngest children. I'm married to a Ghanaian. And while I was living there, I saw the struggle of a lot of our brothers and sisters who have not reached retirement age. We have a large section who are able to retire because they have that steady income coming in from their pensions and retirement. And so they're able to repatriate and because their money goes a lot farther in African countries than it does over here. They're able to have drivers and house girls and all the things they wouldn't have here in the United States with that same money. And then you have the other group who are already pretty well off for whatever reason, and they can live anywhere in the world that they want to anyway. And so some of them are choosing to go to Africa. Well, we have a whole, the largest group, our proletariat group, that middle group who don't have the resources, the support to pack up and move to another city, let alone to an entirely different continent. And so I saw a need, and I felt like our brothers and sisters were being left out of the repatriation discussion because there's nothing there to help them make it a reality. And so I created the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. It's a grassroots nonprofit organization, and it only works if the people want it to work. It's about practicing group economics and cooperative economics, pooling our pennies together for the benefit of the group. And this is for specifically the descendants of kidnapped and enslaved Africans who were forcibly transported out of the continent of Africa and have been living under a system of racism and white supremacy and economic and social oppression in the diaspora. And now they want to go home. And Marcus Garvey attempted to do it, as you know, and he was sabotaged. But I feel like the time is right for us to try it again, and I believe we can do it.
All right, so let me ask you a question. You was in Ghana and you realized this, needed to be done because you said people are being left out. How is your program helping those people who you say are left out? Or what price point, I'm gonna say as well, that you're looking at financially for those particular people?
Okay, the way the program works, I'm asking 1 million brothers and sisters in the diaspora, in the UK, the Caribbean, South America, and North America, to contribute $1 a month on our Patreon, or they can go to our PayPal. $1 a month, and I feel that can include anybody, no matter what your your monthly income is. Everybody can come up with $1. And once we get $1 million coming in every month, we have an application that we'll make available on our website here at sankofarepat.com. People can download it. Now, we're not just, because we're first and foremost a business incubator. We're not just repatriating people so they can go on vacation. This is for you to get over there and start a business so you can sustain yourself and your family and take part of the economic growth that's happening on the continent of Africa. So what we do, those who in the diaspora making less than $45,000 or less, who want to repatriate and they need the support, what we're going to do, we're going to select 100 individuals or families every 6 months once we reach our financial goal. Okay, we're in phase 1 now, which is just spreading awareness and asking brothers and sisters to donate. And let me just say, Phil, as a side note, vast majority of the people who are going to our Patreon and donating are coming with more than $1, but we only ask for $1. So I believe we'll reach our goal long before we get 1 million brothers and sisters on board. But what we're going to do, we're going to receive you at the airport, pay for your housing for 6 months, give you a monthly stipend for 6 months, take care of your residency, get you through the immigration process so that you're in the country legally, get your paperwork filed so that you're operating your business within the laws of the country. And we're starting with Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, and Senegal. Those are the 5 countries we want to start with. Hopefully, as the program grows, we can expand to other countries in Africa. And then we want to give up to $40,000 to start the business. So with their application, they will have submitted a business plan or idea. We will put the candidates that we select through a business development course. We have somebody already on our team that's putting that program together. I am going to have people in those countries to get the marketing demographics and all of that for the particular country that the people want to go to, so that they can have a tight business plan when they get ready to go. So as soon as they hit the ground in these African countries, they have nothing to focus on except getting that business up and running and viable and sustainable and profitable, so that they can stay and create some generational wealth or something for their progeny, for their future descendants. Because as you know, our people have been locked out here in the West for the most part. They have, from slavery up until now, they've done a lot of things to keep Black people from reaping the economic benefits of being in America. For the most part, you have your few Oprahs and Jay-Z's, but that's not the vast majority of our people. The vast majority of our people are just struggling to survive. And so we want to give them an opportunity, one, to break away from this system that is oppressing us economically and socially, and get them back on the continent of Africa where their ancestors came from, set up businesses and support them through that process so that they're successful and sustainable. And then they can begin to help their other family members come over. And then we can make an exodus and go back home where we can find some freedom and peace of mind.
All right. So let's say, a person listening and say, well, Sister Tonya, I'm not a business type of person, but I went to school. Let's say you went to school for nursing, or maybe you're a construction worker or a truck driver, etc. And a lot of people will say, well, what about those who would like to get jobs outside of those who are trying to do businesses? How could you help those people? Not only you said about a residence, dealing with the immigration, but also paying 6 months for their place to stay. But what about, employment?
Well, we're not in the business of helping people find jobs. This is a business incubator. This is strictly to help our people set up businesses. Now, I don't recommend anybody, having lived on the continent and having contacts in various African countries, I personally don't recommend anybody go to Africa looking for a job, because there's high unemployment rate in most African countries. There are people who are educated and qualified in those countries, and they can't find jobs. So why would you want to go there and compete with them for jobs that they're already having a problem, getting? That makes no sense to me. What you need to do, the point is to become independent, to become a business owner, to become self-sustaining, not to leave a job over here and go over there and look for another job.
Right. And I agree with that 100%, because usually, I tell people you don't go to continent looking for a job. You go there to start a business. And, one thing that Akon has stated was, whatever you're doing here, you can do over there, whatever that may be, and start your own business. So what kind of businesses are you guys looking for people to get into?
Well, it depends, because a lot of our people have skills, various skills, various things to offer. I'm not particularly looking for any particular business. It's 5 countries. Whatever your passion is, whatever your skill is, if it's viable and it can survive. Because see, you have to understand, I think you already know this, Brother Phil, Africa has such unmet need. They need everything. So just about anything our people can do. And we have a lot of people in the diaspora who are skilled and educated. So it's up to the individual to say, I want to do this type of business. Let me submit my application and my business idea, my business plan, and and then we will go through those. We have a committee that will go through all of those applications and pick, the best. And we have a very stringent application process. I want to be very clear. You got to be tight with what you want to do. You have to, we're even going to have a part of that screening process, a video interview where we're going to talk to you and your family, make sure everybody's on the same page and committed to this, because we don't want to spend the people's money on people who are just playing around. You have to show that you have a passport with more than 6 months left on it before it expires. You have to show that, you submit a police background check showing us that you're not a habitual criminal, or a pedophile or a rapist or something like that, So because we can't, repatriate those kind of people. But no, we're not going to select the business for them. It's up to the people. We have hundreds of thousands of brothers and sisters who have a various, amounts of skills and qualifications and desires and things they want to do. It's up to them. So I don't have anything in particular I'm looking for in terms of what business these people want to, want to run on the African continent. Africa needs everything.
Well, what if a brother was to say, Tonya, maybe 10, 12 years ago, I did get in trouble and I did some time in jail, but I got out, I'm doing well now. And I've just kind of had it here with some of the things that go on in America. I want to see about possibly getting my feet, into the continent and also starting a business. But you may have something from 10 years ago, 12 years ago. When you mentioned about criminal background, how do you deal with those people? Because we do have them in our community.
Yes. And I'm not saying that we are going to exclude somebody just because they have something on their criminal record. I'm talking about specific habitual acts of violence. And some things we just cannot, like pedophilia, child molestation, rape. You're probably not going to get a visa to go into those countries anyway, if that's on your criminal background. So, it kind of works itself out anyway. And, these people have, when they issue visas, they check you to see who you are. So they will know, and they might not issue a visa anyway to people with certain background. But yeah, we have to, I'm not saying that all crimes would be automatically excluded. All criminal records will be automatically excluded from the application process. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about people who have a very specific history of violence, acts of violence, habitual acts of violence, not something that happened 10, 15 years ago. You've never been in trouble again, and you are, an upright person and working and handling your business. I'm not talking about those people.
Okay. All right. Well, I agree with you 100%. You don't want no pedophiles. You don't need rapists. You don't need murderers. You don't need none of that over there. I agree with you 100% to keep, the continent without that kind of people. But the contacts that you guys have in these countries, all of them are government contacts where they can, like you said, we mentioned immigration and business.
And our contacts have those contacts. Yeah. So we have people on the ground who are able to get us through those offices and ministries. Yes.
Okay. So the way the process works, and just to recap, so they will make an application, and then once they make this application, they need to present, their criminal background and their business plan all in this application, correct?
Yeah, there will be some. Yeah. When we make the application available, which is when we move into phase 2, because right now we're in phase 1, which is just spreading awareness and the fundraising. Once we reach our financial goals, then we move into phase 2, which is the application. We will make it available online at that time for download. They will download it, and in that packet, it will tell them all the supporting documents that they need to send back with the application, including a copy of the passport so that we make sure they have a valid passport with the right amount of time left on it, the criminal background report, the business plan, things like that.
Okay.
And then there's the committee that will go through those applications. And we're going to do now, just because somebody doesn't get chosen in the first round doesn't mean they won't be chosen in the following round. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. So okay. And for you yourself, like, what made you go to, Ghana? You say you went to Ghana and then you married a Ghanaian man, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what made you say, you know what, I didn't had it. I need to see what my options are.
Everything that you talk about on your show every day about how we're treated in this country. I was a criminal defense attorney. I worked at the Shelby County Public Defender's Office as soon as I graduated from law school from the University of Memphis. And then I opened my own law practice in Memphis, Tennessee. And I did that for a number of years. I became very despondent and sad over how our people are treated in the criminal justice system. I had some idea about it, but when I actually became involved in it and saw it on a daily basis and saw it up close and personal, it really disturbed me. And I felt like, what can I do about it? This is happening all over the country, and it's been going on, this since slavery, since 1865, when they said we were free, but we weren't really free. They just put institutional things in place to keep us oppressed. So I left and I packed up and I moved to St. Croix, and I went to the Attorney General's office over there and became an assistant attorney general. And I did that for 7 years. And then the thing is switched, because now it wasn't white people doing anything to us. It was us doing things to ourselves, seeing my brothers and sisters commit horrible, atrocious acts against each other, knowing and understanding that we're still suffering mentally from what happened to us as a people and never receiving proper treatment for it. And so I said to my husband, because I had started visiting Ghana while I was working as an assistant attorney general in the Virgin Islands. And so I met my husband on one of those trips, and then going back and forth, and then we got married, and then he came over here to the States and started working, because we're trying to do some things on the continent which require capital, money. And This is what a lot of our brothers and sisters are doing. They go over there, and then, they have to keep coming back, make money, and then they go back, try to do something, come back, make some more money, go back. This is why you can't really look for a job. And this is why all our people are risking their lives trying to leave Africa to go make money. And so we have the money in the diaspora. We just need to collectively put it together. Individually, a lot of us don't have a lot of money, but collectively we do. And this is why we have to practice group economics. So I told my husband one day, I said, I need a sabbatical. I need to go on a hiatus. I need to get away from it. And I told him I wanted to go to Ghana. And he said, fine, if that's what you feel like you need to do. So I packed up with the two youngest children, because my other ones were older and in college. And I moved to Ghana and was with his family for 2 years. And I loved it. It was the best experience of my life. I felt freer than I ever felt before in my life. Getting up every day and seeing beautiful black faces, a sea of beautiful black faces all day long, and being loved on by people from the continent. And so since then, a lot of brothers and sisters were contacting me because I share like our projects. We have a poultry farm, we have a pineapple farm, we have a cocoa farm. We have a lot going on in my husband's country. And so people were contacting me and they want to know, that I want to do it too. How do you do that? It worked for me because it was easier for me, being married to a Ghanaian and having his family there as a support system and to handle things while we are over here, making money, and his brothers handle our businesses and stuff. So it was easy for us. But a lot of our people never been to the continent. They don't know anybody who's gonna, who are they gonna trust to send their money to? They don't, they just don't have the contacts and the resources. So this is why I created this program, to assist them. So we're going also, what we want to do before we repatriate them and put them through the business development course, we also want to put them through a cultural reintegration program, so that they can get acclimated to the different things that they're going to be exposed to on the African continent, because a lot of our people haven't gone. They have a desire to go, but they just haven't gone. So we'll teach them about things like currency exchange. We'll teach them, when you're in a Muslim country, you don't hand anybody anything with your left hand, because that's considered a taboo or dirty or, unclean, things like that. So we have a program that we'll put them through, talking about being careful eating roadside foods and cholera and yellow fever. Now, I don't want to scare anybody. I lived in Ghana for 2 years with 2 young children, and we never had malaria. We never got yellow fever. We never got anything. But never even got sick. And I want people to understand, I was very aware of everything and very cautious. So that's why we never got sick. And so we want to put them through those type of training and awareness program before we repatriate them onto the continent. And also, we want to have adopted families for them over there. When you leave your family over here and you go on the other side of the world, it's very important that you have a family unit to be a part of. So we're putting our database together of potential families who will, embrace them on the continent. So you get accustomed to different cultural things. They will go with you to the market, show you how to shop, show you how to get around, things like that. So we're taking, it's a business incubator, but we're really taking a holistic approach to repatriation. I had that when I was there, so I know it's important to have.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is extremely important to have. And, I want to ask just one question before we wrap things up. And you worked in the criminal justice system. A serious question. Since you worked in that system, do you ever see that system changing for Black people, or you see the system just running as it was always created, and that's why we need to start looking elsewhere?
Listen, I think our people in the diaspora have to get real serious about being serious and just accept that it's been 400 or 500 years. If these people had any intention of changing, it would have happened by now. And this is why I'm saying we have to start looking at Africa, because I know that they're not going to change. It's not going to change. And we have to accept that so that we can start making the right decisions about what to do. We don't want to take another generation of our children into this system of being oppressed. Can't even go to the park and barbecue or go to the pool, without people suspecting you, calling the police on you. And, Brother Phil, they have tons of studies out here about how living under a system of racism and white supremacy is affecting Black people emotionally and psychologically. We have a growing number of young people who are committing suicide and killing themselves. And no, to answer your question, no, I don't see it changing, and that's why it's important. Africa is now rising, and we should not miss out on it. If anybody deserves to reap the economic benefits of what's happening on the continent, these emerging markets, they can look it up. The top emerging economies and markets in the world are on the African continent. The World Bank is saying it. All these other institutes that white people are running, the Brookings Institute, and that's all they're talking about. So why should we miss out on it? We have a birthright to Africa, and why stay here and suffer and be oppressed when we could go home and do something different and create something for our children?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The thing I always say on my channel is to have your Africa plan, which consists of, number one, getting a passport. Number two, making your first trip, because I always tell people you can get there and make that first trip just as well as and you see it, you take it in, then I don't have to say no more than that. Then you're going to make the rest of that Africa plan your own, because you're going to say, okay, well, how can I get a residency or citizenship now? How can I start a business? And how could I, if those want to, repatriate? Because I don't want to deal with racism. Walk to the bank, everybody black. Walk to the grocery store, everybody black. It's just a shock, because everything in this country, somebody just recently put out a little graph, and it said that white people are 60% of the country, but they're 100% of military advisors, 90% of Congress, they 83% of the teachers. Like, it was showing like how everything is overwhelmingly white, and they're not even 90% of the population. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is done by design, and like you said, it's not going to change. These people don't want to change it at all. So why even fight against them with that? And like you said, Africa is rising, and be a part of it, because we don't want to come late to the party. That's why I always say black folks come late to the party too much.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time, Brother Phil. And this is my message. I can't say it enough. Don't miss out. Don't miss out, because if you stay here arguing with white people and marching and crying while all this is happening over, you're going to miss out. And I say we have to wake up, accept that they're not going to change. Stop begging them to change, and let's just go somewhere. We have another option, and that option is Africa.
Well, see, Tonya, let me respond to you on that, because I'm going to repeat to you what they've repeated to me hundreds of times. But Tonya, our ancestors was buried here, and we built America. What's your response to them on that?
My response to that is, but you're not reaping any benefit of it. It's not benefiting you. Yeah, they did. I absolutely agree. They were brought here. They were enslaved. They built this country, but you're not reaping the benefit of it. In fact, you're still suffering. And African people have always moved and migrated. Long before the white man ever crawled out of the caves, we transnavigated the globe. We've always moved. You don't have to stay here just because your ancestors were here. You don't have to. You have to wise up. Do something better for your children and grandchildren. Akon also said, where else can a black man go in this world and start a business in 3-5 years is a Fortune 500 business, except for the continent of Africa. So you can stay here on your job, which you can't leave to your children. Your children can't inherit your job. Your children can't inherit your Social Security. They can't inherit your pension. They can't. Go somewhere and create something and give them peace. And you will have peace. To me, it's just common sense. It's logic.
It is, because I was doing some research this morning about the average pay of journalists in Kenya. I was doing the research to that. And I was like, wow. I mean, you can get someone from the University of Nairobi that just graduated journalism school, and it's so affordable to pay them, and you actually be paying them what they're supposed to be getting paid. And then you want to add more, you could, versus you paying the journalists here in America, gonna be a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? Right. Mm-hmm. So because our dollar carries so much further. But to them, hey, you paying them good, you paying them right. You're not cheapening them at all. Mm-hmm. And that's the opportunity I see on the continent with the American dollar that we have coming in. We could take advantage of that. Because see, in this country, we don't get capital. There's been so many studies of how things like the SBA under these Barack Obama only gave us 3% of small business administration loans. That's even that was worse than George Bush at 9%, right? Mm-hmm. You have the banks don't want to give a loan. They'll give you a car loan, but they don't want to give you a business loan. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They charge you higher interest rate.
Or charge you higher interest because you're black.
Yeah, somebody with the exact same credit score, same income and everything, but they're white and you're black, you're going to pay more for that money than they are. And did you see the study they were talking about how black people are still being discriminated against in the housing market, in the real estate market, in everything? So I'm like, why stay here and accept this?
And Tonya, I try to tell people, now we have descended lower now than what we were during the civil rights movement. And what I'm saying to that is this: now you have, people that has their orientation is higher than you now on that. Now the Democrats are trying to graft them into what we fought for called the Equality Act. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you have illegal immigrants that's higher than black folks now. They have whole sanctuary cities where the cops not going to touch them. We haven't had a day in America where cops say, I can't touch them because, it's a sanctuary city. So we have descended lower in America. And I'll tell people this, maybe that's a sign from God to say, you know what, maybe you need to start looking elsewhere. How much worse it needs to get for you to realize it?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, every animal, every living thing, the first thing that they think about is survival. It should be. That's the very first thing of nature is survival. And I'm saying listen, we have a better option. We can have better lives. We can do better. We can, we can have a better quality of life. Our children can be free. I have grown children, Phil. My oldest will be 30 in March. And he's about 6'4", 6'5". And then the second one is 28 and he's 6'9". And do you know, as a mother of these Black men who are very sweet, generous, kind, I know that. The people who know them know that. But I'm afraid for my children. As young Black men out here, people will just look at them because they're Black in their size and just automatically be afraid of them, or think that they're up to no good or whatever. And they don't have to live like that. We can go home and everybody looks just like you. You just blend in. All of your money and resources will go to supporting your community. When I was living over there, I felt so happy knowing that every dime that I spent, Phil, went to some Black people, Black families. I was able to employ Black people. I employ Black people right now on our land, on our agricultural farms. So why stay here and be oppressed and live hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck? Look at how the homeless rate is just growing, and the housing market, the houses are almost unattainable now. So why suffer? Look at Africa. This is a program that can help get our people home. I know I can't repatriate everybody, but I really want to try to repatriate as many of you as I can, and hopefully somebody else would come up with another program to help to complement this one so we can get more and more people home and set up. Phil, that the money, you were talking about how our money transfer over there. We're talking 40,000 US dollars, but in Ghana, for example, that's going to be almost times 6. That's a lot of money to start a business. You see what I'm saying? In Ghana. So I know that we can help our people in a very significant and impactful way. And the more of us that are over there and we're starting businesses and we're getting ourselves established and owning homes and all of this thing, guess what? It creates a bridge for more people to be able to come, reach back and bring somebody else over. That's how we're going to do it. Right.
So, Miss Tonya, tell people once again your website and how they can get to it, because they may have some questions for you.
Okay. The website is sankofarepat.com. It's right above me here. You can visit it, and there's a donate button where you can go to our Patreon. We ask that you commit to at least $1 a month on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/letsgohome. Please follow us on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. We're getting ready to start launch the Sankofa Repat Challenge, Brother Phil, where we're gonna ask those brothers and sisters who have donated to send us a 2-minute video, no more than 2 minutes, telling us why they should be one of the first 100 that we repatriate. And I think that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing those videos come in.
Okay. All right. So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you go to sankofarepat.com and check it out. This is for people who say that you need to be extremely well off. She's saying you don't have to be, and their program going to help with that. So, Ms. Tonya, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Brother Phil. I appreciate it.